one tooth, two teeth, one mouse, two mice,
All correct.
one moose, two...
MEESE.
No.
But it has to be, look at it, goose, geese, moose, MEESE. It's the same word wearing the same coat.
It's the same shape. It's perfectly logical, and it is completely wrong. And here's the thing. The reason why is genuinely beautiful. Those two words look like family, and they come from opposite ends of the earth.
And that is exactly the kind of thing that makes learners want to give up.
It is. And by the end of today, it won't. Because today, every strange thing we look at is going to turn out to have a reason, and most of those reasons will actually make you feel better.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Lessons.
This is part 2 of why English is so weird, and why it's not your fault.
If you missed part 1, go back and listen. It's about silent letters and why nothing is spelled the way it sounds. But you don't need it. Today stands on its own.
And as always, we speak slowly, we speak clearly, and we use easy English. So whether you're walking, cooking, driving, or just sitting with a cup of tea, stay with us.
Emma, 20 seconds on part 1 for anyone new.
20 seconds. English spelling is frozen. Silent letters are either ghosts of sounds that died or decoration added by men who love Latin. And in 1066, French speakers invaded England, so English ended up with 2 or 3 words for almost everything. Ask, question, interrogate.
And today?
Today we do the verbs that refuse to behave, the plurals that make no sense, the hardest thing in the whole language, and a robbery, a 1,000-year robbery that English is still committing today.
A robbery.
A magnificent one. Let's begin.
Right. I think it's time for the thing every learner complains about.
Irregular verbs.
Irregular verbs. Go, went, gone. Be, was, been. Take, took, taken. Why can't they all just add ed like normal, polite verbs?
Okay, so this one surprises people. Because the irregular verbs are not the broken ones. The irregular verbs are the old ones.
Explain that.
In very old English, there were 2 big groups of verbs. One group changed its vowel to show past time. Sing, sang, sung, drink, drank, drunk, ride, rode, ridden. That was a real system with real patterns.
So it wasn't random.
It wasn't random at all. It was a pattern. Change the vowel in the middle, and you change the time. And the other group did something newer. They just added a sound at the end, the sound that became our ed.
And the ed group won.
The ed group won completely. It was easier, so over hundreds of years, verb after verb gave up the old vowel-changing system and joined the ed team. New verbs, borrowed verbs, invented verbs, they all take ed. I Googled it. I texted her. I downloaded the file.
Nobody says I gwoggled it.
Nobody says I gwoggled it. Because the old system is closed. No new members.
So then why do any irregular verbs survive?
This is the interesting part. They survive because we use them too much.
Too much?
Think about it. Which verbs are irregular? Be, have, go, do, say, make, take, come, see, get, give, know, think.
Those are the most common verbs in the language.
The most common verbs in the language, and that's exactly why. If a word is used 1,000 times a day, everybody hears the strange form constantly, so everybody remembers it, and it never gets simplified.
But a rare verb
doesn't get that protection. People forget the strange form and just add ed, and after a generation or 2, the old form is gone. It's happened to hundreds of verbs.
So high frequency protects the irregular form.
High frequency protects it, which means, and I love this, irregular verbs are irregular because they're important.
That completely flips it. They're not the difficult ones, they're the essential ones.
They're the essential ones. And there's very good news hiding in that.
Which is?
There are only about 180 irregular verbs in common English. And you don't need all of them. The most useful ones are maybe 70. And because they're the most common verbs, you'll meet them constantly, every conversation, every day.
So they teach themselves.
They teach themselves if you let them. And here's the one that always shocks people. The verb go. Go, went, gone.
Went doesn't look anything like go.
Because went isn't from go at all. Went is the past tense of a completely different verb, an old verb, wend, which meant to travel or make your way.
So we stole the past tense from another verb?
We stole it. Go had its own old past tense, and at some point English just dropped it, borrowed went from the neighbor, and never gave it back.
That's not a language, that's a crime scene.
It's a beautiful mess. And you can still see the old verb in the phrase to wend your way, which people still use, rarely in writing.
Okay, practical advice. How should someone actually learn these?
3 things. 1, don't learn the list alphabetically. Nobody speaks in alphabetical order. Learn them in sound groups. Sing, ring, drink, swim, begin all follow the same shape. Learn one and the others become easy.
Patterns again.
Patterns again. 2, learn them in short, real sentences, not as 3 lonely words. Don't memorize take, took, taken. Memorize, I take the bus. I took the bus yesterday. I have taken that bus 100 times.
Because that's how you'll actually use them.
That's how you'll actually use them. And 3, the kind one. When you make a mistake with an irregular verb, nobody misunderstands you.
That's true, isn't it? If someone says, I go to the shop,
You understand them perfectly, 100%. The message arrives safely, so please, don't let irregular verbs stop you from speaking. Speak first and let the correct forms arrive slowly, with time and listening.
communication first, accuracy second.
Communication first, always.
Emma, I have a question that has bothered me for years.
I think I know what's coming.
1 goose, 2 geese. Yes?
Yes,
So 1 moose, 2,
it is not MEESE.
but why not? It's exactly the same shape. Goose, geese, moose, meese. It's perfect.
It's perfect, it's logical, it's beautiful, and it's completely wrong.
This is what I mean. This is the moment learners give up.
And the answer is actually lovely. Goose and moose look like family, but they come from opposite ends of the earth.
Go on.
Goose is one of the oldest words in the language, thousands of years old. And in very old English, some words made their plural not by adding S, but by changing the vowel inside.
Like foot, feet.
Foot, feet, tooth, teeth, man, men, woman, women, mouse, mice, goose, geese. It's a small family of very ancient words, and they all work the same way.
So those aren't mistakes either. They're old survivors.
They're the oldest survivors in the language. But moose is a young word in English. English speakers only met that animal a few hundred years ago in North America and borrowed the name from the indigenous people who already lived there.
So it arrived late.
It arrived late, thousands of years after the vowel-changing system had closed, so it could never join that club. It's like arriving at a party after the doors are locked.
So new words always take the normal plural.
Almost always, which is why every modern word behaves. Emails, computers, photos, podcasts, regular, calm, polite.
And the strange plurals are all very old and very common words.
Exactly the same rule as the verbs. Old and common equals strange, new equals regular. Once you see that rule, half of English stops being confusing.
Okay, but what about sheep? 1 sheep, 2 sheep. Nothing changes at all.
The invisible plural, sheep, fish, deer, aircraft. And that's another old pattern. Some old English words simply never marked the plural. They didn't need to.
And children? That doesn't look like anything else.
Children is my favorite because children is a double plural.
A double plural?
The old plural of child was childer, and then, later, people felt that childer didn't look plural enough. So they added another plural ending on top. Childer plus N. Children.
They made it plural twice.
They made it plural twice, just to be sure. And brethren works the same way.
This language has no supervision.
None whatsoever. And honestly, that's the theme of this whole episode. Nobody is in charge of English. There's no committee, no official rule book, no academy that decides what's correct. Some languages have exactly that, a national academy that publishes official decisions.
And English never had one?
People tried to create one more than once. It never worked. So English just grew, wild, in every direction, taking words from everywhere, keeping the old ones, never cleaning up.
Which is exactly why it's so messy.
And also why it's so rich. English has an enormous vocabulary, far more words than most languages, precisely because it never threw anything away.
So the mess and the richness are the same thing.
The mess and the richness are the same thing. You cannot have one without the other.
And the practical advice for plurals?
Very simple. There are about 8 or 9 irregular plurals you actually need. Man, woman, child, foot, tooth, mouse, goose, person, and the invisible ones like fish and sheep. That's it. That's the whole list you truly need.
That's nothing. That's an afternoon.
That's an afternoon. Everything else takes S, so don't let this one frighten you. It's a very small problem wearing a very big coat.
Okay. We've arrived, the final boss.
Phrasal verbs?
Phrasal verbs. And I want to say to every listener right now, if this is the thing you find hardest, you are completely normal. This is the hardest part of English.
It genuinely is. Advanced learners, people who speak beautifully, who work in English every day, still find these difficult.
So let's explain what they are simply.
A phrasal verb is a small verb plus a little word, and together they mean something new. Take the verb give. Simple. You know it.
I give you a book,
Now add up. Give up.
which means to stop trying, which has nothing to do with giving or with up.
Nothing at all. And that's the problem. You can know both words perfectly and still have no idea what they mean together.
Give me some more.
Look after, to take care of someone. Look for, to search. Look up, to find information. Look out, be careful. Same verb, 4 completely different meanings.
And that's just look.
That's just look. There are thousands of these. And the champion, the most famous one of all, put up with.
3 words.
3 words, and it means to tolerate something you don't like. I can't put up with this noise.
Put up with. You could stare at those 3 words for a year and never guess.
Never. So the question is, why does English do this?
Yes, why? Why not just say tolerate?
Because this is the old, deep, Germanic heart of English. This little system of verb plus particle is very ancient, and it's where English feels most like itself. And remember our earlier story? English also has all those formal French and Latin words.
So for many phrasal verbs,
For many phrasal verbs, there's a formal single word that means the same thing. Put up with, tolerate, find out, discover, look into, investigate, give up, surrender, put off, postpone, get together, assemble.
the short one is warm, the long one is cold.
Exactly the pattern from before. The phrasal verb is what people actually say. The single word is what people write in reports.
Which means if you avoid phrasal verbs,
If you avoid them, you'll be correct. And you'll sound like a legal document. People will understand you perfectly, but they'll hear a small distance. A formality.
so we can't escape them.
We can't escape them. But here's how you actually learn them, and this is the most practical part of the whole episode.
Go ahead.
Rule 1, never learn them in a big list. Never. A list of 200 phrasal verbs is a list you will forget in 3 days.
Because they have no meaning by themselves.
They have no meaning by themselves. So instead, Rule 2, learn them in situations. Learn the 5 you need at the airport, the 5 you need at work, the 5 you need with friends.
Learn the ones your life actually needs.
Your life, your job, your day. If you work in an office, learn set up a meeting, call off a meeting, go over the numbers, fill in a form, hand in a report. That's 5. And now you can survive a working week.
That's so much better than a random list.
And rule 3, some of the little words do have patterns. Not perfect ones, but real ones. And they help.
Like what?
Up very often means finishing something completely. Eat up, eat all of it, drink up, finish up, clean up, use up.
Up means to the end.
Often, yes. And out often means removing or discovering. Find out, throw out, cross out, sort out. And off often means separating or stopping, take off, turn off, call off, break off.
So there's a little logic hiding underneath.
A little logic hiding underneath. It won't explain everything. Nothing explains put up with, but it gives you a feeling. And feeling is what you're building.
And rule 4?
Rule 4 is the kindest one. Understand them first, produce them later.
Say more about that.
You need to understand phrasal verbs immediately because native speakers use them in every sentence. But you do not need to use them yourself right away. You can say, I'm searching for my keys instead of I'm looking for my keys, and every English speaker will understand you perfectly.
So understanding is urgent, using is not.
Understanding is urgent, using can wait, and it will come slowly from listening, the same way it comes for children. One day, put up with will just fall out of your mouth and you won't remember learning it.
That's a really encouraging way to end the hardest part.
Because it's true, nobody memorizes their way to phrasal verbs. Everybody absorbs them. Alex, I want to play a game with our listeners.
I like games.
I'm going to say some very normal English words, completely ordinary. And I want everyone listening to ask themselves, does this word sound like a word from my language?
Okay.
Sugar, coffee, lemon, orange, cotton, algebra, alcohol.
Those all feel like basic English words to me.
Every single one came from Arabic.
All of them?
All of them. Sugar, cotton, lemon, orange, algebra, alcohol, Arabic words traveling across centuries and countries until they arrived in English and made themselves at home.
Give me more.
Shampoo.
Shampoo has to be English.
Shampoo is from Hindi. It comes from a word meaning to press or to massage. It traveled from India to Britain, and now the whole world uses it.
What about food words?
Ketchup came from Chinese, through Malay. Originally, it wasn't tomato at all. It was a kind of fish sauce.
Ketchup was fish sauce?
Ketchup was fish sauce. The tomato arrived much later. Chocolate, tomato, and avocado all come from the language of the Aztecs in Mexico. Yogurt is Turkish. Pajamas are from India. Coffee traveled from Arabic through Turkish.
This is incredible.
Piano, opera, balcony, umbrella, Italian, kindergarten and hamburger, German, safari, Swahili from East Africa, tsunami, karaoke, and emoji, Japanese.
Emoji is Japanese.
Emoji is Japanese. It's not emotion, it's from words meaning picture and character. And here's my favorite, the word robot.
Where's that from?
Czech. From a play written in 1920. The writer needed a word for artificial workers, and he used a Czech word connected to hard labor. 100 years later, the whole planet uses it.
One writer invented a word, and the world took it.
The world took it, because that's what English does. English takes everything.
So, how many languages has English borrowed from?
Hundreds. Genuinely hundreds. And this is what makes English so unusual. Most languages protect themselves. They have rules, academies, committees that decide what's allowed in.
And English?
English has no door. English has no lock. If a word is useful, English takes it, keeps it, and pretends it was always there.
Which explains the enormous vocabulary.
Which completely explains it. English has far more words than it needs because it never says no.
Okay, but Emma, why does this matter for a learner? It's a lovely story, but is it useful?
It's extremely useful, and here's why. Because it means you already know more English than you think. Whatever language you speak right now, listening to this, there are English words hiding inside it. And there are words from your language hiding inside English.
So they're free words.
They're free words. You didn't study them. You already own them. Words about food, technology, music, sport, business. These travel between languages constantly.
Taxi, hotel, radio, internet, bank, sport, music.
Those are understood almost everywhere on Earth. And that's a gift. When you meet a new English word and it feels familiar, trust that feeling. It's often right.
But careful, yes, because sometimes the word changed its meaning.
That's a very good warning. Sometimes a word travels into another language and shifts. Teachers call these false friends. So the word looks the same, but the meaning moved.
So trust the feeling, but check.
Trust the feeling, but check. Still, on balance, you are starting with thousands of words you never had to learn. Every learner is.
That's a genuinely encouraging thought.
And there's something bigger in it, too. English isn't a pure thing that belongs to one country. It's a collection. It's a market. It's 1,000 years of borrowing from everybody.
So when you learn English, you're not entering somebody's private house.
You're joining something that was built by everybody, including already your language.
Emma, I want to talk about something English lost, because we've talked a lot about mess, but there are two places where English is genuinely wonderfully easy. And learners don't always notice.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Let's start with you.
The most useful word in the language.
In many languages, there are two ways to say you. An informal one for friends and family, and a formal, respectful one for strangers, teachers, or your boss.
And choosing the wrong one can be genuinely embarrassing.
It can be a real social mistake, but in English, there's just you, one word, for everybody.
For your best friend, your grandmother, your boss, a stranger on the street, a small child, and a king, all the same word.
And that wasn't always true, was it?
No, English used to have both. There was thou for one person you knew well, informal, close, friendly, and you was the polite, respectful, plural one.
So English had the same system as everybody else.
Exactly the same. And then something interesting happened. People started using the polite you more and more with everyone just to be safe, because it's always safer to be too polite than not polite enough.
So politeness spread.
Politeness spread and spread until it covered everything. And poor thou slowly disappeared. By around 300 years ago, it was gone from normal speech.
Where can you still hear it?
In old poetry, in old religious texts, in Shakespeare, and in some local accents in parts of England, where it still survives quietly.
So English chose maximum politeness for everyone, forever.
English chose maximum politeness and gave every future learner a wonderful gift. You never have to make that decision, not once.
But wait, English is still polite. So where did the politeness go?
Alex, that is the perfect question, and I'm not going to answer it.
You're not going to answer it?
Look at the clock.
Every time?
Every time. The honest answer to that question is big enough to need its own episode, so let's stop here.
So everyone waits again?
Everyone waits, but here's one small taste so you can carry it around today. Give me that. And could you pass me that, please?
Same request.
Same request. Completely different person. One sounds like an order, one sounds like a friend.
And the word you never changed.
The word you never changed once. That's the whole secret. And tomorrow we open the entire toolkit.
Quick review of today then.
Irregular verbs, not broken, ancient. They're irregular because we use them constantly, and heavy use protects the strange old form. So irregular means important.
And went.
Went was stolen from a completely different verb and never given back. That's not a language, that's a crime scene.
Plurals.
Geese and feet and mice are the oldest survivors in the language. Moose arrived thousands of years too late to join the club, and you only really need about 9 of them. That's an afternoon's work, not a mountain.
The final boss?
Phrasal verbs. Learn them in situations, never in lists. Understand them now, use them later. Nobody memorizes their way to phrasal verbs. Everybody absorbs them.
And the robbery.
English has taken words from hundreds of languages and never given a single one back. Sugar and coffee from Arabic, shampoo from Hindi, ketchup from Chinese, and it wasn't even tomato. Robot from Czech.
Which means your language is already inside English.
Your language is already inside English. You start with free words you never had to study. And that's a lovely thought to end on.
So what's in part 3?
Part 3 is the finale, and it's the practical one. We answer the politeness question, we look at a tense that doesn't exist.
A tense that doesn't exist?
English has no future tense, none. I'll prove it tomorrow.
I refuse to believe that.
Believe it. Plus why Americans and the British spell differently, on purpose. And then the biggest idea in the whole series, who actually owns English now, and what that means for how you speak it.
Your challenge for today, and this one's easy.
Go on.
In the comments, tell us one irregular verb or one strange plural from your own language. Every language has them.
We're genuinely curious, and it's a good reminder that English is not the only messy one.
We read every comment, and we reply.
And again, you just listened to half an hour of English without stopping. That counts. Your listening improved today while you were busy arguing about a moose.
If you're enjoying the series, press like and subscribe so part 3 finds you tomorrow.
You're not learning a simple language badly. You're learning a difficult one well.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.